Hello and welcome to a laughable brand new episode of Cinema Savvy News. It is me, your host George. I'm finally back on the one show that I actually kind of schedule that I came with the idea, and I haven't been here recently. I've been very busy. I've made the specials, but I am holding the fort today with Tate and Chris. The three of us are back together. I won't lie, I don't remember the last video I actually did on this channel. It might have been
It was
Dunkirk.
Game of Thrones.
Oh
Game
no,
of Thrones.
well,
was
yeah,
Game
that was
of
more of
Thrones.
like a glorified cameo.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yes.
I genuinely can't remember last time I actually sat down and actually scheduled the news and actually went and did it.
Mhm.
But now I'm
It's
here, I
good.
am back. There have been dramas in the scheduling, but we do have our headline of John Cena being cast in the Bumblebee film. But before we get to the major news, I have to pass over to Chris for some other news.
Yes. So it's never fun talking about these things, but there have been 3 celebrity deaths this week, and we do want to get this away before we get onto the main news. So Sam Shepard has passed away at the age of 73. Sam Shepard was an American actor, screenwriter, playwright, director, and author. I haven't seen many of his stuff, in all honesty. I haven't seen any of the films that he's directed, but he's been in films such as Black Hawk Down. He's been in The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. I mean, I say it every time someone goes like this, but it does suck when they do go. Talent like that. He's been nominated for countless BAFTA awards and things like that. And in the realm of voice acting as well, June Foray, I think that's how you pronounce it, has passed away at the age of 99. So you can't knock those innings, can you? Age 99. But she did the voice of Rocky the Flying Squirrel, a TV show, Rocky and Bullwinkle. I mostly know her from Mulan, Disney's Mulan. She played the voice of Grandmother Far, who's one of my favorite characters in that film. And for any Looney Tunes fans out there, she did the voice of Granny with Sylvester and Tweety Bird. So, yeah, again, in the realm of voice acting. And Robert Hardy today, George, Harry Potter fan, Cornelius Fudge. Conflicting reports. I saw some say that he died at the age of 85. I think everywhere says now died at the age of 91. He was in a TV show called All Creatures Great and Small, which was a bit before my time, so I haven't seen that. Mostly know him as Cornelius Fudge from the Harry Potter films.
Yeah, and it's not an odd one, but he was obviously we were all at Comic-Con together on Saturday, and originally he was part of the Comic-Con lineup, and I think it was about a couple of days before they announced he cancelled. So I wonder if he's been poorly towards the end or something. But I will say that he looked really well for his age. Like, you wouldn't look at him and think 91.
Yeah, no. When I saw that, I was thinking, well, how many years ago has it been since Harry Potter came out? Because he didn't look that old when he was in the Harry Potter films.
No, and it's not too long ago either. But yeah, it's always sad to start off with the passing away, especially when we get it so often nowadays.
Yeah, and now it's always the awkward segue into the main news. Least case that the main headline for this week is John Cena has joined the Bumblebee spin-off cast, so we're in the realm of Michael Bay and explosions and all that good stuff. So, well, actually, no, it's not Michael Bay, is it? It's Travis Knight, director of Kubo and the Two Strings, and I've gone on record saying that I was actually cautiously optimistic for this one. Going back to the 80s, might be kind of a soft reboot of the franchise. I believe there's already been someone confirmed in the main female role. I can't remember her name.
Hailee Steinfeld, the person who played the young girl in True Grit, got nominated for the Oscar for that.
And then became
she's
best mates
also-
with Sophie Turner and did music videos. And
I don't know. She's a singer, actress, can literally do everything. But yeah, that's as much as I care about this news.
Big Matt John Cena, the meme, the Lord. You cannot see him. Tate, that was funny yesterday in Inbox. Yeah, well, this is to me the reason. Yes, there's a Bumblebee film. I honestly don't really care, but I do care. But as a wrestling fan who booed John Cena when I saw him live at Raw, as every wrestling fan did do, it's an interesting one because I've always said, and I think everyone's always said, when's The Rock gonna take over a Transformers film? Because The Rock is the natural guy. He's worked with Michael Bay, blah blah blah. But now I look at this as this could be the beginning of the John Cena action star. Just like The Rock, he started off in some very minor roles. I'm seeing him also minor because obviously The Scorpion King came out, which was his lead role. But this is going to be John Cena's first lead role. And I know you said it's not, but they have said it's the lead role in other reports as well. And he wouldn't be casting a minor role in a Transformers film. What I'm intrigued by, if he has the power to draw fans to it, which I think he does do, especially the kids now. One of the reasons why the wrestling fandom hates him so much is because He would never be a villain or a heel in wrestling terms. He was always, I'm Superman, I'm John Cena, I'm here to sell some merchandise, I have bright colours, kids love me. They absolutely do love him, they adore him. And as the older fans, it's always fun to take the piss out of them at live events and stuff. Not that I do take the piss out of people that like John Cena, but I really do. But I think this could be big enough for him to really hit that A-list. Like, when The Rock was in Fast 5, this is my comparison now, right? He was a lead, but not the lead, and that's what I think John Cena will be. And if he does save the Transformers franchise, he will be all over action films for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, for me,
I don't think he will save the Transformers franchise. I think, as far as the Transformers franchise is concerned, it is too far gone. And even if you have a good director on board, even if you have a good cast on board, which they have so far without John Cena, because I've seen John Cena's acting before in other films, and I'm not going to say that it is like the worst acting I've seen, but it's close. It really is.
The thing is with this,
and even without any form of development, even with him acting how he has done in previous films, even with him acting better, like it's not going to help it. Like, the Transformers films will always have the studio pushing something completely different, even with a different director. This film, I am optimistic because it's got Travis Knight as the director. I'm optimistic because it's got Hailee Steinfeld as the lead role. But as soon as you stick that Transformers tagline on it, and I don't know whether this is the stigma behind it or anything like that, but it just immediately just doesn't become something that I want to watch. And that's what Sony have kind of... Not Sony. Is it Sony who does Transformers films? Paramount. That's what Paramount have done to it.
Look at Fast 4. Fast and Furious was dead. The numbers were going down. Fast and Furious 3 was almost straight to DVD. In came The Rock. Very different people, Rock and Cena. You're forgetting with the kid. If a 5-year-old kid wants to go to the cinema, you get 2 tickets for the adults to take him as well. When I saw Transformers 5 this year, the cinema was dead. I mean, the box office is bombing this. Do you think 4 or 5-year-old kids wanted to go watch Transformers 5? I genuinely don't think they did. I think the kids wanted to watch Spider-Man. With this will attract kids to it. And the other thing is, everyone knows who John Cena is. You don't have to be a wrestling fan to know. Even my parents know who John Cena is. Well, they call him Jin Cena. But I think it's a video. Like, I'm going to watch it because I'm intrigued. But this is me more intrigued now, as long as being a wrestling fan as potentially something. But Hailee Steinfeld said that got you involved. Like 90% of people don't know who she is, especially like a random person in the street. Who's Hailee Steinfeld? I don't know. Who's John Cena? Oh, John Cena's in this Transformers film. He's going to be all over marketing. He's going to basically push this like he does with his wrestling events. As much as we all despise him, he's gone part-time because he's trying to make into films, and he's done some minor cameos. He's starting to do the right things. He's pulling strings. He's hosting SNL. He's starting to build up that base. I think
that's because he's seen how The Rock has fared. But like, I want to go ahead and say that not everyone makes it in that way, shape, or form.
We know that. Plenty of wrestlers have done it. But of this generation, John Cena will be the only one to at least get a decent go. And headlining a Transformers film, it's arguably bigger at the casting of now than The Rock joining Fast and Furious 5. Because Fast and Furious 5, no one cared about it.
I'd say that Dave Bautista fared well in his own sense, because he didn't start off by going for this like huge main acting role. He just started off as a henchman, and that helped. And that
the Iron Fists. The thing with Batista, Batista was probably one of my favorites as a kid because I got into it when he was in it. He was not an A-lister like John Cena in terms of wrestling standards. People, if you went to the guy on the street who's Batista, they wouldn't know. But Batista's got not very lucky. I love Batista. Guardians has helped him drastically, which is a great thing because I think he's a lovable guy. He's really sound and stuff. John Cena, I don't know why we're talking so much about wrestling. This is in the wrestling podcast, but I severely think people are going to underestimate what this does for this franchise, because he is someone that is a draw power. People will go and watch this. He is a recognizable face to others. And I genuinely think that he actually could be decent to this. And I'm just going to assume outright that he's probably the dad of the main character. I know that was Mark Wahlberg's, but John Cena's like 38. But he's not trying to be The Rock, but he is trying to get into Hollywood. And I think he's got the right charisma. I mean, I think he's got the record for most. I always forget what they're called. Oh god, Make a Wish. I think John Cena's the most Make a Wishes of the entire list ever done. His PR image is everything about him. He will be a draw to this film, and I think John Cena will be bigger than Bumblebee.
Okay, it's my time to chime in now. I was building because you know my thoughts on the Transformers franchise that have come so far with these films. The franchise itself for me at this point, because I mean this clearly is going to still fit into the same world that the others have built on. The current Transformers franchise to me is irreparably ruined forever and always, and it always will be. However, if this is going the route of a soft reboot, maybe they want to do a franchise set in the 80s, that's probably the best way to go about it. However, when you hit me with a casting, with a human cast in a Transformers films, immediately I give no fucks at all, because I don't go into a Transformers films for the human characters. I go in for the Transformers characters. Now, maybe they're going to strip this one back to just Bumblebee, but you're going to have some kind of villain in there. Now, I think they said that they're taking a lot of inspiration from the Iron Giant. I think that came out in an early report. So maybe it's going to be like a government thing where they find Bumblebee. I don't know, or maybe they will have Decepticons in there. I don't know at this point. In terms of John Cena, I don't watch much wrestling. Well, I don't watch any wrestling. I used to watch it back in the day, in like the early 90s, leading into the 2000s a little bit. Sort of dropped off it then. I'm aware of the memes. I'm aware of John Cena's theme song that's on like every single meme, and it kind of tied itself out. I haven't seen any of his acting, but the fact that he's not inherently an actor does concern me, especially when like Travis Knight's directing this thing. This seems like a studio decision. It seems, as you said, George, they're trying to go with a Dwayne Johnson route. It might work, it might not, but it seems like they do have a lot of confidence in this thing. The fact that they've basically pushed out Transformers 6 now. Originally, Transformers 6 was meant to come out, I think it was June of 2018, and then the following year was going to be Transformers 7. Filmed back-to-back, coming out a year apart. Clearly, they're not going with that plan anymore because they've seen the disappointing box office of Transformers 5. And the fact that the Bumblebee spin-off comes out in December, which is a huge slot for any movie. I mean, it used to have, you know, like the Hobbit films, Star Wars, now that's moving to May. It's a big, you know, it's a big tentpole time to release a film. So if it does draw kids in, if it does draw the adults in, it might be a big one for Christmas. Who knows? Also,
the same day as Aquaman. I mean, I'd put a bet on that Aquaman actually moves, because don't forget, originally Batman and Superman come out on the same day as Civil War. Warner Bros. Crapped themselves, pulled it back. No, they pulled it back a month. You put it this way: if you go to a kid in the street, Daddy, do you take me to watch Aquaman? Which, okay, we haven't seen Justice League yet, but what would you? I mean, actually, this is a very good question for you, Chris. Would you rather watch Aquaman as a part of the DCEU, or Bumblebee, a soft reboot
without
of the Transformers?
Without any kind of trailers to go on, I'm torn, because Aquaman's got James Wan directing it. However, the last time James Wan tried to do an action film was Fast 7, a film I didn't like, and I like the Fast films. Didn't like Fast 7 at all. So I don't give a fuck about any franchise, but I guess because I want to see a Transformers film set in the 80s with Travis Knight directing it, one of my, you know, my favorite film from last year, Coup with the Two Strings, I'd probably go Transformers Bumblebee spin-off.
Hands
and I don't
down
know what that says
Aquaman.
About me as a person.
Hands down Aquaman.
You can't be hands down if you're in the water.
I get to see Jason Momoa be fucking brooding.
Even though I don't like the look of Aquaman in the trailers, at least it is something that you can work off. We know that Jason Momoa is a good actor. We know that there is something there.
He's a good actor when he's speaking in a kind of like foreign language, like Khal Drogo or something like that.
Did you like that hair flick in the Justice League trailer? Like he's a cooler guy than he is an actor. Yeah.
It's like, remember that Conan the Barbarian remake they did?
I just think...
I do.
Here's the thing. If they're pushing this for kids, but you look back on the franchise and see where it's been already...
But it won't be marketed as that.
Going to get many people in.
It's not going to be marketed. It's going to be marketed as a soft reboot. Look at this Beetle that's Bumblebee. Look, it's John Cena. This is going to be for kids. A teenage girl, the girl boot.
The last thing I'll say on it... Oh, it's kind of going off that character.
Has a film ever gone? Here's a question: has a film ever gone from like a kind of middle tier, kind of 12 to 15 rated franchise and then dialed back in a soft reboot to a PG.
Yeah, Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious one. Fast and Furious was rated 15, the first one, then 4 dropped to 12A to make that money.
No, here because this is going to be less than a 12A. They're going to get people involved as much as possible.
No, Transformers will be a 12A. Transformers will be a 12A.
Yeah.
No films are PG that are live action anymore.
The last thing I'll say on this film, because we've got a lot of news and we need to move on, regardless of this. This is our main news article. The last thing I'll say is, give me Travis Knight directing a family Transformers film. Bumblebee's VW Beetle, set it in the 80s, keep it focused with a heartfelt story on the Transformer character. That's all I want. That's all I want. And you know what? It might even be good. Just keep Deep Wang away from it, keep swinging robot testes out of it, and we might have a good movie. This might be the first good Transformers film since the 1980s one, which, George, I know you didn't care for at all.
No.
Right,
Anyway,
let's move on. Let's move on.
Move on.
Oh, this
because we're going to be talking about this one for ages.
This is fun. So, Colin Trevorrow, the guy that somehow got the gig of directing episode 9, the guy that we've all said as the immortal, what's his name? Not Lex Luger. Lex Luthor would say, "Ding, ding, ding." The bells are coming. Is it something like that? I don't know. Ding, ding, ding. Colin Trevorrow, you just got replaced as the writer on your own Star Wars film.
Yeah. So Trevorrow was obviously the director of Jurassic World, which was a movie that I absolutely loathed and detested. A lot of people liked it, and it made a whole bunch of money. So you can understand why Disney wanted to snap him up to direct a Star Wars movie, because surely he could replicate that feat, right? Wrong. He apparently brought a movie out this year. What was it? The Book of Henry? Is that what it's called?
Yes, I think so. Which is touted to be the worst film of the year so far, funnily enough.
So, you know, Disney keep tabs on their directors. Like what we had Josh Trank with Fantastic Four. Remember that Boba Fett spin-off that never got made because he was shit on Fantastic Four? Disney are the all-seeing eye. They're like the giant eye of Sauron looking at all their directors.
They murdered the Lego director halfway through filming.
And, oh God, what's his name? Baze Malbus from
Yes, he hasn't been seen since spoiling Rogue One at Celebration. And he's a famous director, and he hasn't even got any films come out in China anymore.
Disney have top men working on it. But this rewrite, I think we all knew this was going to happen, and it's only a matter of time before they announce a new director for this thing. Jack Thorne, I haven't read The Cursed Child, and I haven't watched any of This Is England, so I can't comment on his writing. I know that This Is England is a fairly popular TV series, and The Cursed Child's been very popular as well, although I think if you're a die-hard Harry Potter fan, there might be some continuity things that people have a problem with. I have yet to see him take on a feature film, though I don't know if he's done feature film before. Not to this scale. So they clearly have a lot of faith in his writing. It's still quite a while off yet. I mean, we've got the spin-off, the Han Solo spin-off, you know, episode 8, Han Solo spin-off, and then we get into this one. But they are finalizing things at this point. Maybe they'll shift some things around before that point. But I definitely think we are going to get another director shift before this one. And I think this is sowing the seeds of that by changing the writer up.
As long as we don't get Trevor Morrow, or whatever the hell his name is, directing a scene where there is like
Kylo Ren
Luke
jumps on Snoke's back.
Ray. No, and they're being chased by Panther.
Sorry, a Porg. A Porg comes on Luke's back, and they fight Snoke.
And no, it's Ray running in high heels away from an AT-AT.
I'd pay to watch that.
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to go the route of Return of the Jedi. I think the Porgs are going to be like the Ewoks, and they're going to beat Snoke's First Order, and it'll be.
No,
great.
man, they're just chilling on an island, innit? You'll see them on Sunday.
Yes.
Should we move on from episode 9, the rewrite? Hopefully soon we can talk about an episode 9 director.
Okay, let's move on
to some very fun news.
Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer has taken over the duty on the Blade Runner 2049 soundtrack.
I thought he's in collaboration with.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought, and they're now reporting that he's taken over duty. Is it Johan Jonsson? Something like that.
Johan Johansson.
He's currently now working on another project.
I think he'll probably still use some of his cues because clearly,
yeah, it's an interesting one.
Taken over the soundtrack, has he? He's just collaborating on a score for it. One of the scores.
They're saying he's taken over now. He's currently quote in demand. But then if you go back to Zimmer, if someone wants to research that quickly, what I will say, a lot of Zimmer's early work was very I mean, it's even similar with Dunkirk. It's very much synths and stuff like that, and I feel that he could nail Blade Runner. Like, not because I'm a
He
massive
is
fan.
writing additional music to the score.
Yeah.
And he's composing.
He
it
is
as
not
well.
taking it over.
I think he's composing.
He is writing.
He's composing.
It's already composed.
Is it?
But
It's taking over the role of composer on Denis Villeneuve's forthcoming Blade Runner
There we go.
2049.
So
There's conflicting reports here, guys. So
put it this way:
basically,
Zimmer,
Zimmer's
who
involved
knows?
in Blade Runner 2049.
this is amazing. Could he get 2 Oscar nominations in the same year?
Here's the thing. I think Dunkirk stands a chance, but
Dunkirk
musically,
will.
I've said that musically it's not very interesting, but it works for the movie.
It's a film soundtrack, so that's what they go for rather than the cute
Yeah.
little themes. But I don't know. It'll be an interesting one. But I'm surely John Williams has probably had that before. 2 noms in a year. Surely he has.
Yeah.
Well, he would have had
probably has.
Schindler's and Jurassic Park, probably, wouldn't he?
Mhm. And you know, with Hans Zimmer, like I believe he began his career like working on a lot of synth. He was first and foremost a keyboard player. I correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think like he featured in the music video for Video Killed the Radio Star from 1979, playing the keyboards in that film. I think that was like his first ever thing. He's
At
done
his
a lot
concert
of,
this year, they did actually do that in London. They brought out the old man, and they actually did the song, which was
oh, did they?
really
Oh, that's
really bizarre. It was cool, but it was bizarre. But
you know, he's such a versatile composer. He can pretty much do any style. We know he can do synth. He'll probably want to make it his own, but I really do hope they retain some of that Vangelis sound from the original 1982 Blade Runner. But it's exciting. And the thing is with the Blade Runner soundtrack, there are so many styles in that soundtrack. Yes, it's mostly synth-based, but there's like choral, there's sort of like exotic Middle Eastern kind of vocals going on in there. It's really a diverse soundtrack. So I'm hoping that the soundtrack for Blade Runner 2049 evokes that. And with Johan Johansson's, because I mean, if you've seen the film Arrival, the music in that is very strange, very haunting, very alien and eerie. And with Hans Zimmer coming on board as well, I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic score.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about this news because I mean I love the Blade Runner soundtrack. I love what I've heard from the trailers so far as well. I don't know if that's going to feature in the film or not. But Hans Zimmer, it's in safe hands. He's not going to fuck up a soundtrack, is he?
Mm-hmm.
No. The trio from this year: Boss Baby, Dunkirk, Blade Runner. He knows.
Anyway, let's move on to Chewing Towel, Edgy on the Floor, as he is in talks to play Scar in The Lion King.
Yes.
I know I pronounced that wrong.
Chiwetel Ejiofor, for those that think we're joking.
Yes, 12 Years a Slave actor, right? And in Doctor Strange as the villain for the next movie,
Baron,
whose name I forget.
Yeah, something like that.
The point is, he's a fantastic actor. As Scar, though, I don't buy it. I really want. This is I've talked about this with the live action remakes before. It's doomed if they do, and it's doomed if they don't. Like they've got, oh God, what's his name? Darth Vader. How can I forget this?
James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones. Thank you. They've got James Earl Jones back. They've mostly pretty much got a brand new cast for everyone else, but everyone's looking to that point of Scar. And for everyone who's a fan of Lion King, Jeremy Irons is the voice of Scar, as James Earl Jones is the voice of Mufasa. So,
yeah.
It'll be fine. And I think a lot of people still might be a little bit bitter over the Hugh Jackman fiasco following the D23, because I think a lot of people were on board with that idea and then obviously said that was fake news. I'd be fine with it. I'm kind of ambivalent to the rest of the stuff that comes out for the Lion King live action remake because part of me thinks it shouldn't be made. He's a great actor. I'm sure he'd be a great voice actor too. But I don't think it would have that same villainous quality that Jeremy Irons has. I mean, Jeremy Irons in anything, even if he's playing a good guy, he always has that air of intimidation with his voice. So
I guess only ever really seen Chiwetel Ejiofor being a villain in one film that I can remember, which is Children of Men. Like, I don't remember him being too villainous in anything else that I've seen. I know that, spoilers for the end of Doctor Strange, he is the villain in the end, I guess. But that's the very, very end post-credit sequence. So
when I first saw him in 12 Years a Slave, I think I must have seen some other minor things. I think he's one of those, he did a lot of like sort of TV work in the build-up and stuff. But 12 Years a Slave is honestly one of the most, I don't want to say intense, but that was one of like the biggest eye-opening films I'd seen in a long time, the first time I saw it. And that performance was absolutely special. I can remember from the trailers, you knew this was it. And I believe he didn't win Best Actor. I think that went to Daniel Day-Lewis. I may be wrong, for Lincoln. I'd like someone to check that. But
that sounds about right.
I don't think he won it, but when he was in Doctor Strange, it's just paint by the numbers. He's got his Marvel, he's got a superhero film out in the books. But this, I don't know where I stand because it's voice work. It's what Gary Oldman always said. The best thing about voice work, they can't see your face, so you can try new things. And for all I know, he's got the most intimidating scar in the world. But going off of actors that are left-right choice, I mean, you watch Star Wars Rebels. I would have loved. Yeah. Everyone always gets David Oyelowo mixed up with Chiwetel Ejiofor, which they shouldn't do, but a lot of Americans get them mixed up. Yeah. David Oyelowo would make a fantastic Scar in Lion King.
He would. He really would.
I think Chiwetel Ejiofor has got the ability to do it, and like I said, his voice. He doesn't. No one's gonna have to look at his face. He can focus that performance in the voice, and hopefully, if he does sign on, because it is talks at the minute, then I would be hopeful because I don't think they've cocked up. I think I did read that they reckon they're filming now, but obviously the voice work comes at the end because it's all sort of CG.
I've always seen that whoever plays Scar has to be a thespian. They have to have that thespian quality about them. They have to.
David Oyelowo in Hamlet, I think.
Yeah, but like it's why.
Sorry, Chiwetel Ejiofor. Christ, I mean.
In Hamlet. Okay, that eased it up slightly. I'm slightly more kind of okay. That's good, but like, I seriously, I always thought you have to have someone like the ranks of like Benedict Cumberbatch, someone who has that kind of deep, menacing voice anyway, without having to put anything on. But I guess. Well, we don't even know whether he's been cast yet or not.
But here's the thing with me, like, if we go, the last thing I'll say on it, if we go back to Jungle Book, for example, oh, God, I can't believe I forgot the name who did the original voice of Shere Khan. I'm going to have to check that out.
What I will say, Chiwetel Ejiofor won a Laurence Olivier Award for Othello.
Wow, okay.
So that's quite something. Obviously, 12 years. Oh, he was in The Martian. I knew I recognised that as something else. But no, I think he's got the ability in him. And I believe he turned down playing the Doctor as well before Matt Smith took on. I think I remember. Yeah, that would have.
Oh, sorry. You...
No, don't go for it.
Oh. I'd say George Sanders did the original voice of Shere Khan in the animated Jungle Book, and he again had that very theatrical, thespian-like quality to his voice, and that worked for that movie. We get live-action Jungle Book, and whilst I didn't hate the movie, I didn't really love it either, but a lot of people really praise Idris Elba's take on Shere Khan with that. He was scary. Like, kids were crying in the cinema at him. And it was a very different take on the character, but it still worked for the film. So maybe you could argue that for Chiwetel Ejiofor if he does have somewhat of a villainous voice. I think a lot of it will be in the appearance as well on screen. It doesn't jump out to me as a voice actor. Like, I've only seen him in live action so far, and he hasn't really stood out to me in terms of his voice. Like, he's given great performances, but in terms of his voice tied to this character, that's what I might have a problem with. But I'll have to wait till I see in a trailer or in a clip or something like that.
Okay, I guess we're moving on to the next bit of news. Hayley,
more live action Disney.
Yes, Hayley Atwell joins Ewan McGregor. I don't know if he's directing it or whether he's in it or not in the Christopher Robin Disney adaptation, not to be confused with Goodbye Christopher Robin, a film which we may be talking about a little bit more later. What are you guys' thoughts on this? Because Hayley Atwell is Agent Carter, if I'm right in saying?
Yeah, and she's also Cinderella's mum, so I don't know how this Disney cinematic universe is working now. No, I love Hayley Atwell. Everyone loves her. She is one of the soundest actors. Like, I think she's big with the fans and stuff. Like, I don't have a bad thing to say about her. And I love Ewan McGregor. Yeah,
me too. And it's Disney sticking with their Disney family, essentially. Like, you could say the same for Chiwetel Ejiofor after Doctor Strange. Yeah, she's a great actress. I'm fine with that. Ewan McGregor's a phenomenal actor. Absolutely love him. The thing is, Winnie the Pooh should never be made into a live-action film.
Definitely shouldn't.
Ever.
I want to see how terrifying Tigger is. It's going to be like a reimagining of Shere Khan.
Right? If they're going to do like a height comparison, Winnie the Pooh's going to be fucking immense. Can you imagine that?
Can we get instead of like for Piglet, can we just get a fucking pig? Like
it'll be like a pot-bellied pig. You're going to have like a giant fuck-off yellow grizzly bear in like a red little vest.
And we're going to get Idris Elba as the tiger on the fucking...
We're going to have Idris Elba as the tiger.
Yeah,
we're not going to have like an owl. We're going to have a fucking bald eagle. replacing Owl.
You'll have an owl, like you'll have an owl, but you're gonna have like Idris Elba bouncing around singing "The Wonderful Thing About Tigger's is Tigger's a Wonderful Thing." Like this should not be a live action remake. It's Disney just cashed in on literally everything. There's so many other Disney films they could have done live action. I don't know why they're doing Winnie the Pooh. To me, it won't work. Winnie the Pooh.
Can we make it because it's obviously it's going to be canon and shit like that. That I know that in the Goodbye Christopher Robin film, it's about the writing of it and it's about the children's imagination. But if it's going to be a live action film, it's going to be real. It's going to be a person communicating with animals once again. Can we have it like Christopher Robin finds some shrooms in the forest and then he sees the animals?
But again, like going back to like we had the same thought process, George, when we saw Jungle Book with like the warthog and the little pangolin meerkat-looking thing, and we thought maybe that's going to be influence for like a live-action Lion King down the road, and of course it is. We did have Baloo in that film, and if memory serves, he was going for honey in that film. So they've clearly got like all the CGI rendering down for that. It's just Winnie the Pooh.
Are we getting Bill Murray playing Winnie the Pooh?
I'd be cool with that. I'd be so down. The voice is completely off.
What about Seth Rogen?
I'd be fine with that.
Seth Rogen.
Can you imagine looking for the honey?
Yes. Get commenting. Who do you want doing the voice of Winnie the Pooh in the live-action Disney thing? Going back to the casting, I'm fine with the casting. I haven't got a problem with that. Clearly, like Ewan McGregor's like, there was a great meme I saw on Facebook where it was like Disney saying like, "We'll give you your Obi-Wan spin-off if you do something for us." It's like, oh god, what is it? And it's a picture of his character from Beauty and the Beast. Now he's in live action Winnie the Pooh as well.
Do you know what? I've just thought about it for a second. I want Guilford Godfrey to play.
No, he's Iago, dude. He's so Iago from Aladdin.
Nah, I reckon, him playing... Yeah, I can see him playing Winnie the Pooh.
I want to get the honey.
Oh, God. Abrasive to the eyes as well as the ears. Wonderful.
Come here, Christopher Robin.
Can you not see that?
Oh, jeez.
Anyway,
let's move on. Let's move on.
George, you love this. You can talk about.
Oh, this is absolutely amazing. So do you remember a couple of weeks ago where the favorite director for Suicide Squad 2 came out, Jean-Claude Serra? I think he'd done that shark film last year, which obviously I didn't watch, and a couple of other films I should have known. But anyway, this was, yes, he's their first choice. He's in talks with them. He's ready. He's ready. He's going to be the Suicide Squad 2 director because Mel Gibson left. And he dropped out. He has signed on to direct Jungle Cruise, which is the new Disney theme park film starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
They now have Disney theme... Oh, yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Yes. With Terrence Stamp.
Tomorrowland.
I just thought it's amazing that like Suicide Squad 2, like, they lost another director, like they lost Mel Gibson, they've lost this guy. They obviously lost David Ayer because he said, I don't want to do a Suicide Squad again, I wanted to do something else.
Out of all of those, who do you want to see? I want to see Mel Gibson's Suicide
I want to see Mel Gibson
mental.
I want to see behind the scenes of Mel Gibson just beating the shit into Jared Leto. Like, could you imagine like, if he gave like him a rat on set, like he just fucking like just beats the shit into him?
I saw Mel Gibson Expendables 3. He could fucking do it. He could. For me, like I didn't hear about this Jungle Cruise thing. It seems like The Rock can't get out of the jungle at the minute with Jumanji 2 coming out later this year. This is just in a bad way, isn't it? And I don't know why, because even though we despised Suicide Squad, I mean, I thought it was somewhat passable as a movie at the time, but watching it again, it's fucking abysmal. When they can't get a director locked down for it, even though the first one did fairly well at the box office, and unfortunately I'm still seeing loads of people dressed as Daddy's Little Monster Harley Quinns everywhere, especially at Comic-Con last week.
Oh god, that was really bad.
It's worse when they're with
Chris, we invented a drinking game whilst there. We didn't go through with it, but drink every time you see a Harley Quinn. I think we stopped counting at about 60 something.
I mean, hot pants shouldn't turn me off as much as they are at the minute because I'm seeing too many Harley Quinns. That should not be a thing, but somehow it is. The point is with this movie,
Daddy's
I don't care about...
Daddy's Little Gods.
That's just comment in one sentence summed up. The worst thing is their daddies are standing by them.
Yes. Suicide Squad, I don't care. They'll find a director at some point. The studio will get involved. They'll shit out a product. Loads of people will be dressing up as the new characters from it. I don't care. I'll hate it. DC fanboys can hate in the comments. I don't care. I'm immune to your hate at this point, so bring it on.
Can I join the hate, but on a different film now? Deadpool.
Okay.
Well, this actually isn't annoying me too much. But the first 2 images of Domino from Deadpool 2, starring everyone's favorite cafe, ZZ Beats. And
Is that a new brand of headphones?
it might as well be like they got the pill now, so why not ZZ Beats?
Oh god, I just got Transformers 4 flashbacks. Don't mention the pill.
I won't lie though, like she kind of is cool. I don't know much about Domino, but I know she's like an assassin. Although she's exactly like that person from Game of Thrones. I always forget her name. The one that was in Fast and Furious. That's the one. Looks exactly like her. They just probably couldn't get her. Well, she's probably better actor than her, but yeah. We've had 2 images there. I know she's called Domino, but I didn't know they were that on the nose by having like a white powder around one eye to look like a domino circle. Oh, so edgy, so rated 18. Deadpool is so hip.
No, dude, she's like that in the comics. Just
I know, but
hair.
it's just you just know they're gonna make shit jokes about it, don't you?
The big thing that's came out of this, I mean, I know zero about the character. I'm not gonna lie, guys. Like, obviously when like someone's cast, they have a picture of the comic book character. I haven't read a Deadpool comic in my life. I haven't read an X-Men comic in my life, so I don't know about the character. What the big hoo-ha is about this character is that in the comics, she's a Caucasian character. Long, sleek black hair, white face with the black spot over her eye, and she's been cast as an actor of color, and that's annoyed a lot of people out there, saying that.
And they've done it the reverse way around. They've put a white spot on her eye.
I don't see the problem.
And of course, she's got the afro with this as well. I think I saw someone on the internet compare her to Foxy Cleopatra, Beyonce's character from Austin Powers Goldmember. So. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, if the characteristics are there, I mean, the go-to comparison that everyone usually says, myself included, is Michael Clark Duncan, who played Kingpin in the 2003 Daredevil film. Phenomenal job, was incredible as that character. I don't have a problem as long as the character comes through. There are some characters that, if I know a lot and like know well, if the characterization's wrong, for example, I guess spoiler alert, Mary Jane, the name drop at the end of Spider-Man Homecoming, stuff like that annoys me. But in terms of Domino, like I think it's fine. It'll be a great movie. The pictures themselves, I like how they've gone back to, you know, the original picture that came out with Deadpool on the bear rug. I thought it was cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like they're just going with that kind of theme. Maybe they've just got that set left over from last time. Who knows? Who knows?
I'll say that Spider-Man Homecoming felt pandering. This doesn't. This just feels like...
Oh, wait for the Thanos jokes. Don't worry. Hey, you're Thanos! Oh, retards in the cloud clapping.
Anyway, let's move on to news of just like someone who, like, I mean, we don't really know anything about her. Young girl who's been cast as the young Jean Grey called Summer Fontaine.
Summer Fontana, I think that should be. I haven't seen her in anything. I did look at some of her other roles. Apparently, she's appearing in a short film called Basic Witches, and she's also in season 4 of CW's The Originals, and that's pretty much it. It'll only be a quick scene, probably in flashback. Oh, X-Men, a franchise that I still love. I still show up for them all. I'll always go and see an X-Men movie. They're among my favorite branch of the Marvel universe, I guess. They were on such a roll. X-Men First Class, X-Men Days of Future Past, which is still my favorite X-Men film ever made, and then Apocalypse just threw the drag chute out and just let all the steam out of this franchise, to the point where now I really don't care for another X-Men film. It'll be fine, and we've said this before, like X-Men The Last Stand.
Apparently Legion's good, though.
Legion's meant to be good, and that's why
I haven't seen that yet.
That is why the Legion showrunner is doing the Doctor Doom film, and I forgot to put the actual Doctor Doom news in. Should we just go for it now while we're talking about
go for it,
Fox? Mads Mikkelsen says he would like to play Doctor Doom. I am sold.
Yes.
I'm sold.
Yes. His Kingdom of Latveria, that is, get him in the costume. If he's an actor that would be fine wearing the mask, and they don't do some weird, like, dressed in a plastic bin bag like they did in Fant Four Stick. Get Mads Mikkelsen in anything. Fantastic actor.
Brilliant. Okay. Ian McShane cast in Hellboy, playing Professor Broom. Have either of you guys watched Hellboy or read?
No, but I've watched Harry Potter, and it sounds like the Quidditch teacher should be that.
I think... he was played by, John Hurt in the in the first two. I don't. I've only seen Hellboy once, and only went to see Hellboy 2 once at the cinema. It came out the same weekend or around the same time as Dark Knight, if I recall. And I saw Dark Knight a lot more times than I did Hellboy 2: The Golden Army. I think, George, when you originally got the plan for this, you said that his character is going to be raising a baby Hellboy. That's what they did in like a flashback sequence at the beginning of Hellboy 2. So it's clearly following the comics. I haven't read any Hellboy comics, so I don't know the history of the characters, but I'm assuming that's an integral part of it. And Ian McShane, fantastic actor. Get him in anything, like I just said with Mads Mikkelsen, whether it's John Wick, whether it's Game of Thrones for one episode. He's amazing. So I can see the casting. It's going to be very different from John Hurt's take on the character, but I'm sure that Ian McShane will still do a great job. And
then we have Lego news, because everything's gone quiet about Lego recently, actually. Lego Batman didn't do as well as it should in the box office. A new Lego spin-off film called The Billion Brick Race, and I'm sure it's missing a dollars from there, but it's genuinely called The Billion Brick Race. But actually, no, it's not, because obviously there's a billion Lego bricks. That's why. They have a no director in Jorge Gutierrez. I think he's done some TV and some animated stuff before, but I don't know anything about him. Nothing is known about this spin-off either. It is just the title.
That's intriguing, though, isn't it?
The Billion Brick Race. I don't know. It's just...
They've clearly dropped the movie title of this one this time.
Yeah. The Lego movie, the Lego Batman movie, the Billion Brick Race.
The Lego Ninjago movie, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fine with these. I'm just concerned that, I mean, with the dwindling box office from Lego Batman, who knows what Ninjago is going to do? It won't even do as good as Lego Batman, I don't think. I know there's like
kids. Because Batman has a draw in its name alone. Ninjago, I didn't have a clue about.
Lego movie was made for kids and adults. Lego Batman was made for kids, but adults could go and see it with all the Batman references if they're included in the comics. Lego Ninjago
is made for kids.
Made for the kids who watch the TV show. This one, I'm fine with it. I'm just concerned that they're going to milk all these Lego movies and they're going to lose their, the charm that they have.
Okay, seeing as they're appealing to every demographic, when are we getting the hard R18 Lego movie?
Depends what it's based on. Depends what it's based on.
Well, we've got a Lego movie of Phil Lord and Chris Miller filming Star Wars as like an indirect joke to their sacking.
Yeah.
The closest they ever came to a Star Wars film now, sadly, will be their short little cameo appearance in Lego Movie.
There is some shit series called Lego Freemaker Adventures, but not a single Star Wars fan watches it. And I think the Star Wars story group tend to actually distance themselves away from it too. Yeah, there's a second season.
No idea. The Billion Brick Race. I'll go and see these Lego movies. I really liked Lego Batman. I believe you did as well when we did our reaction. We were all over it. I haven't watched it a second time yet, so I don't know if it's still as good as the first time I watched it. But hey, if Lego Ninjago's good, then I'll be hopeful for this one. That's all I can say. Do you want me to do the next one?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so Taika Waititi says that Thor Ragnarok is about 100 minutes in length, and I think that it's been ranked as the shortest Marvel film currently made out of the 20-odd films that they've done.
Wow.
I mean, it's only just shy of 2 hours, and to me, it seems like he's really good with the pacing. I haven't seen any of his films. You guys did one for Film Club, which I've heard
What We Do in the Shadows. That was about an hour long as well. Sorry, an hour and a half long as well.
Yeah.
I think he come out and said something like, "I want to leave everyone wanting more." He said there will be a lot of deleted scenes. So I'm intrigued. But in all honesty, having seen Dunkirk, I'm not going to talk about Dark Tower because that's 95 minutes in length, but that's meant to be shite. At least Dunkirk was 106 minutes.
Yeah,
and that was the most intense 106 minutes I've seen this year.
To be honest, Dunkirk. One thing I don't think I mentioned in the review. It feels like a 2.5 hour long movie. It feels a lot longer than it is, and that's not a bad thing. It's so much happening and so kind of intense that.
I think with most films now, and I'm going to go back to Transformers on this one, they're just completely unrestrained, and they think that you have to have an hour-long action scene at the end, and you really don't. Like, if you can get it down to 100 minutes, and the story still plays out from beginning to end in a logical way, as long as none of the deleted scenes are left on the cutting room floor, like Avengers: Age of Ultron, which were should have been integral to the film for it to make sense. As long as there's no case of like that, if Taika Waititi says that it needs to be 100 minutes and that's the effective way to tell that story, and it doesn't drag, it doesn't slow down, it's at a great pace, then make it 100 minutes. Not everything has to be over 2 hours, especially a Marvel movie.
Precisely.
Speaking of running time,
it has a running time of 2 hours 15 minutes. Yeah. Horror films, yay.
Yeah.
I still need to do a reaction to the other trailer that came out last week, which I will get around to next week. I'm busy this week. I'm in Dublin. As soon as I do that, I will get on a reaction for that. However, the 2 hours 15-minute running time is interesting because there is going to be an It 2, and the book, if anyone's seen the book, is immense. It's huge, to the point where they had to make it a mini-series for its first adaptation with Tim Curry. I haven't read the book, and I've only seen bits of the mini-series. To my knowledge, it begins where the main cast of characters are kids, and it shows their first interaction with Pennywise the clown. And then I think the book flashes forward to when they're adults, and then they start to get haunted by the same clown again, and they have to defeat it. I think that's the plot. Maybe the miniseries took some liberties with it. So it makes sense that it's 2 hours 15, because when we get It 2, if it's the same running time, if it's a little bit longer, you will ultimately have a 4.5 hour adaptation of the book. Which would probably be about the same running time, maybe a little bit shorter than the miniseries. Actually, no, it'd be more. I think the miniseries was about 3 hours. I'm fine with it being 2 hours, 15 minutes. I haven't been that too hot on what I've seen so far. It did kind of look like a generic horror remake. But, you know, there was a lot of thumbs down on that reaction, so clearly I didn't see something in that trailer that everyone else did, and maybe it is close to the book. I don't know.
This is a horror film. I don't like horror films.
I join you there.
But saying that, I'm probably going to go see it. And there are multiple reasons why.
It looks very much like Stranger Things with the kids' interaction.
Not only that, but it has some of the characters from Stranger Things in it.
Yeah, that chubby kid looks really familiar. I see him everywhere now.
No, there was one of the kids actually from Stranger Things. I think
the
it's
main one, isn't it? Yeah. Will's friend. Yeah.
The Mike, is it? Mike?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will be seeing this, and I'm going to be scared shitless, but I will still be seeing it.
You're on your own.
What I'm looking for is, I know that, of course, every single film nowadays has to have jump scares. I want to see a more... I know that they've shown a couple of jump scares in the trailers, but I want to see a more psychological horror side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that that could be the case with this film. So... I'll be watching it.
Also, I will jump ahead to the next bit because I actually did the schedule. Well, not wrong, but I knew there was other It news. We'll just jump to it because it's one ahead. Tilda Swinton was originally considered to play Pennywise in the new film.
I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
She's a pretty creepy person.
I can see her playing anything. Like, she can play anything. But the real question is, how many people would it trigger? Because people got triggered by her playing the Ancient One in Marvel, because obviously he was of Asian heritage.
Yeah.
So I wonder, she was obviously linked with Doctor Who, that I would have been down with. But given the reaction of the women doctor, how would they have felt about a clown being a woman? I couldn't have given two shits.
I'd be fine because Tilda Swinton, one of those actors, and I think even by her admission, she's fairly gender fluid. Like, they were talking about doing a David Bowie movie, and she's expressed interest in playing the character. Like, when you look at her, like, you could imagine her playing Bowie. Like, she's got the recognizable face, very unique facial structure. I'd have been fine with it. It'd have been different if she could have turned in, a scary performance as Pennywise. I don't see what the problem is. Plus, when you're all caked in like clown makeup and how much she'd be made up anyway, I don't think you'd really have to tell the difference anyway.
I think she would have been perfectly suffice for it. I'm not complaining that she isn't in it. I wouldn't complain if she was in it. It's just one of those. She would have been a good casting choice. I don't know who's playing the clown this time round. Who is it?
Oh God, I don't know.
Is it one of the Skarsgårds? I think it might be the young Skarsgård.
Oh, is it?
It could be. I remember loads of people.
Bill Skarsgård. Yeah, Bill Skarsgård.
But yeah, so moving up. Well, it's not really horror, although it has horror in the title. Little Shop of Horrors is apparently getting a remake. Now, I read this plan this morning. I wasn't aware that this was going ahead, and this broke my heart. So apparently, the studios are targeting Rebel Wilson and Josh Gad to play the main two.
Because you just can't have enough fat jokes, can you?
Oh, I know. And the studios really need to stop making Josh Gad a thing. They just need to stop with that.
He was great as LeFou. He was
great. Fine as
he was great.
Okay. He was in that film, in a film that I really didn't like, the live action Beauty and the Beast. He and Luke Evans. It is Luke Evans, isn't it? Yeah. They were the best two things in that film. The point is, Little Shop of Horrors is a classic. Now, this was a film that I was aware that had a massive cult following. I really didn't know that much about it. I knew the big plant, "Feed Me Seymour" was the catchphrase. I watched it earlier this year, actually, for the first time, and I was completely enamored by it. It's a great musical, really fun music, great comedy as well. And if there's any Disney fans out there, Alan Menken, who pretty much did, if you've got a favorite Disney song from the 90s, he pretty much wrote it. It was like his first ever musical thing that he did in terms of this play, Little Shop of Horrors. Really great film. There's two endings out there. There's a director's cut and there's a theatrical cut because they weren't happy with the sad ending. They wanted to go with an uplifting ending, so there is a different ending out there for the theatrical cut. This is a film that shouldn't be remade. There's nothing wrong with Little Shop of Horrors. It's got great puppetry work and puppets in there from the likes of Frank Oz. And I just know that this is just going to be a CGI-filled one. It's going to be CGI-filled. It's going to have Rebel Wilson. It's going to have Josh Gad. It's going to have inferior music. It's basically going to be a Little Shop of Horrors, but everything's going to be bad in it. Why do you want that in your film?
It's going to be a little film of horrors.
It is.
And yeah. I don't allow this. I put my foot down. No.
Your opinion
it's not happening.
One of Ross. Put it this way: I'm not the biggest fan of musicals. I haven't seen the original. I know it's like a play that everyone would do at school eventually.
Mm-hmm. It's fun. It is fun.
It's basically. I just wouldn't see it. My high school musical is Grease. It always will be Grease. Just the name Rebel Wilson, like Fat Amy, needs to die. I despise everything about her. Even when she interrupted a rap battle between James Corden and Ross from Friends, it broke my heart. The rage, the anger, the monologue from bloody Scar in Batman v Superman. I despise everything. I will not put a penny in her part of any. I think I saw a film last year which was great, and then she had a cameo at the end, and it completely ruined it, and I went mental.
I think the worst thing about this is that the studios are pushing her. The new Pitch Perfect film is basically
a Fat Amy. The fact she's called Fat Amy says everything about her.
It's no.
I'm trying to remember the film which triggered me.
I know that she did cameo in one at the end. I can't remember the film. It wasn't one that I saw, but I did hear a lot of people talking about that. I can't remember what it was. But it's just the fact you've got Josh Gad, who's going to be taking over from the original actor who was Rick Moranis. Rick Moranis is just a goddamn... He's still in retirement now. I don't know if there's going to be a film that comes out that brings him out of retirement, but he is, like, whether it's Ghostbusters, even the live-action Flintstones movie, he was great as Barney Rubble. Like, Rick Moranis is a fantastic actor, and you're going to get Josh Gad.
I feel like, at the moment, the only thing that would bring him out of retirement is if he was asked to cameo in, like, Stranger Things or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Spaceballs as well as Dark Helmet. Of course, that was one of his main ones as well.
I'm so glad he didn't come back for the Ghostbusters Answer the Call, or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
That was a good move.
Oh, they did change the name. They did change the name, didn't they? And I think that's probably as good a segue as ever to move on to the next topic. If we're moving on, yes. Doug Liman has spoke out about the Edge of Tomorrow title change, which changed to Live, Die, Repeat. He said he got into arguments with producers as he wanted to call it Live, Die, Repeat to begin with. He had to ring them and apologize after arguments. The new one is called Live, Die, Repeat, Repeat. And apparently that title's not getting changed.
So
that's
hold on. So we've got Edge of Tomorrow, and then the next film is called Live, Die, Repeat, Repeat.
Well, it was a weird one because it was originally Live. Well, the comic or the book was called All You Need Is Kill, right?
Yes.
Then we can't put that in a Hollywood film, so then it was called Live, Die, Repeat. Then before the film came out, they changed it to Edge of Tomorrow. But then the Blu-ray, and I think from now on, it's called Live, Die, Repeat. And now we're getting Live, Die, Repeat, Repeat. Which is far too much effort.
It's way too much effort.
Live, Die, Repeat squared.
I think this is going to confuse a lot of viewers.
They could have just called it. They could have just kept it as Edge of Tomorrow as the first film, and then called the next film Live, Die, Repeat.
No, because you need the connection.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think audiences are going to have the connection now. Like maybe if they picked it up on DVD, they're going to see Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt in this movie, and they're going to go, "Wait, this looks exactly like the movie that came out. Oh, what was it called? Edge of Tomorrow from a few years ago. What's this Live, Die, Repeat, Repeat shit?" It's an awful title, and if we get a trilogy, then God knows what the title for that one's going to be.
Live, die, repeat, repeat, repeat. Or is it live, live, die, die, repeat, 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 repeat?
I don't know. Live free and die hard, whatever it's going to be called. I don't care. It's an awful title. Shall we move on to the next topic?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so the Spawn director has talked out about a reboot that's happening. This has been on the cards for a long time. Spawn, I believe, came out in the 90s. And it was abysmal. I haven't read a Spawn comic, but I know that Spawn is a very violent character in a very R-rated graphic novel series, and like the look of him is a really cool look for a character. Like he's like this white kind of hockey-like mask, like Jason Voorhees, with this long, flowing, shredded cape. I don't know if he's a demon of some kind. Someone who's a Spawn fan can probably correct me on that. And that movie that came out was like a PG movie made for kids when it came out, which is completely missing the point of the source material. This one is going back to R-rated, and I think it's going ahead now. I think it's officially been confirmed that it's happening. And also, I think the original Spawn film came out at a time when CGI was very much a new thing in the 90s. They hadn't quite got it down, but for some reason, every filmmaker thought it was the coolest thing to do ever. And if you watch that movie, honestly, the CGI in it is like worse than most PlayStation 1 cutscenes. It's fucking horrendous how that got put onto screen. So I'm all for a Spawn reboot, and I'll be old enough to see it this time, and it will be great.
I just want to point out that Suzanne Redding has actually posted a couple of comments here, and I actually like some of these comments. Edgier of Tomorrow, Super Edgy Tomorrow, and Die, Die, Die being the names of the new film. Please, in fact, in the comment section, please write down what you would rename the new Edge of Tomorrow sequel. We want to see some really interesting suggestions.
Yes.
But yes, moving on. Pacific Rim 2 has been pushed back a month. It is now on the 23rd of March 2018, sandwiched between Tomb Raider and Ready Player One. We actually don't know why this has happened, because it was in a completely clear release schedule when it was first kind of noted to when it was coming out.
No one knows.
Unless
Idiots.
it's another film filling in the slot, then
I think it's fair to say you won't get a Pacific Rim 3.
The power of John Boyega, baby people. I didn't mind the first one. I was very disappointed from what I was hoping. But I liked the concepts, and I thought, yes, it's Del Toro, and I don't know, this makes me. I thought someone else should have handled it. I know it was his idea, and I completely grasped the original concept, but seeing that teaser for the new one, the Jaegers look a lot better. They look like what they should have been. They look like what this should be made for. Like, it should be made for kids, these films. It doesn't look like it's going to be a kids film, but the design of the Jaegers look more, not modern, but they look like what they should be compared to the slow, heavy moving tilt things. Kids didn't want to watch that. Kids wanted to see fighting. I think that's what we're going to get now.
I'm not going to lie, though, but it was pretty awesome when he like pulls out of a sword from nowhere and just slices it.
Oh yeah, there's some
it's just
there was some amazing visuals and some great scenes in it, but there's something about the film that didn't work, and I feel that the ideas were there, but the execution wasn't. And maybe, just maybe, we'll get that. We'll get that in the next one. Especially now they've actually got. Yes, Idris Elba was in it, but he wasn't the lead. He was a minor. He was the kind of supporting. But at least with John Boyega, he's really, and I've said this before, I think, certainly off camera, but of the three of the Star Wars so far, he's the one that's took his opportunity, and he is flying. They're all doing projects, yes, but Boyega set up a production company. I believe he's producing this. He's done theatre work. He's doing Detroit, which is going to be not necessarily for him, but a critical acclaimed, maybe Oscar talked about film. He's in Star Wars, a franchise. He's got Pacific Rim, a franchise. This kid knows what he's doing. He's been clever with his projects, and he's got me sold on this film before I even wanted to watch it.
I didn't really care for the first Pacific Rim film. Kind of like what you said, George. Like, it's something just fell off. Like, the comedy didn't hit with me. The action didn't really stand out to me. I think the only scene I like was, it's been spoofed loads now, but the little kid running through the city as this huge monster's just devastating it. Like, that was cool. I enjoyed that. I think Guillermo del Toro works better when he has like actors in makeup and like the really creative creature designs. The CGI creature thing just didn't work for me. But I'm excited for Pacific Rim 2 if they are doing something different with it. It might even kind of be like a soft reboot. They'll want to take it and maybe do a new, maybe even like a new trilogy if it makes money. But it's a really awkward release date to bring it out. I don't know why they changed it, and I don't know. It's an awkward one. Depends how good Tomb Raider is. If that bombs, then it might have a chance, but who knows?
It's just February was clear. Now you've got it sandwiched between the Spielberg hyped up film, which will get a lot of money, I think, and Tomb Raider, which will definitely get a decent weekend, and if it's good, it will hold. I just don't know. Like, I mean, if this one was great, people will go watch it, and I guarantee that the trailers will be all over the Star Wars Last Jedi's trailers as well. I'm sure Boyega will get that little snap in there, but there was no need to push it back because originally the first one came out in July, and it didn't need to. That should have been another time. February each year now, you kind of getting like a hit in February. Like Deadpool was one of the biggest films of the year. That was in February. There's always these. I think Kingsman the year before was February. There are slots. John Wick 2 was February, yeah, as was Lego Batman. Logan was obviously March, but there are slots now to get hit blockbuster the early parts of the year when there's no other ones. Now they've got it sandwiched. It's absolutely mind-boggling.
We've got other news now. Paramount has pushed back the release date of Cloverfield 3 to February 2nd, 2018. Again, talking about February release dates. I don't think any details have been released with this one just yet about plot details, whether it's going to be carrying on from... Oh, God, how am I forgetting her name? From 10 Cloverfield Lane and Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Elizabeth Winstead, Elizabeth Winstead.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I love 10 Cloverfield Lane. We did a review on it. I think we did a joint one with High Rise and 10 Cloverfield Lane when we were doing a catch-up. It was a great film. It wasn't originally intended to be a Cloverfield film. I think it was a script that was written as a completely separate entity and then drafted into a spiritual successor because it wasn't a direct sequel.
But the thing that I liked about that film so much was there was so much mystery behind the first film. Like the first film, there was a lot of online advertising. You got one trailer. You didn't get anything else other than that. And it was like all I remember was the head of the Statue of Liberty scraping across the street.
Yeah, it was really clever.
Immediately hooked in. The second film was even better in the way that it was marketed, just by the fact that it just dropped the trailer out of nowhere and said this film's out in like a month's time. What? That's phenomenal. That keeps it fresh in people's minds because sometimes with modern day films, they'll send out a first trailer. People will watch it. They'll remember it for a few months. They'll forget about it. And then they'll release another trailer like a couple of months before the film. You're like, oh, yeah, sure. I forgot that there was a trailer one. Like, but of course, they're already kind of announcing when it's going to be released. So unless they pull a fast one and just kind of like release it like, I don't know, like tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I love 10 Cloverfield Lane. If it is a continuation, I might even be like a little bummed out about that. Like, I like that all of these are separate entities.
But it feel like it's different parts of the same incident. And
maybe, yeah.
You can work a lot with that. We've had the immediate moment where it happened. We have a person in the middle of nowhere and the aftermath of it. Maybe now we get another family or another person who is in trouble, and maybe it's at a separate stage. Maybe it's after the first infection, them having enough time to gather up their stuff and having to move out, and then being chased by it. Maybe.
Yeah, I did hear rumors as well that they're going to merge Cloverfield 1 and 2 now and have the two storylines intersect. Who knows? Moving on to the next topic, Weta have announced that they've began work on the visual effects for Avatar 2, 3, 4. And 5 now, apparently. I don't know if that's a joke.
I thought that was the name of the new film, Avatar 2345. But no, that was 2, 3, 4, and 5. Jesus Christ, I wish that was just one number.
You know, there's not really much to say about this. I mean, Weta do incredible visual effects when they have enough time. The only example I will give where they don't have great effects is some scenes in Peter Jackson's King Kong. That's because he likes to do a lot of stuff visually, and sometimes he's like the last week before release, like down to the wire, trying to get things finished. They have to rush things out. More recently, The Hobbit, Battle of the Five Armies, which had some very bad because they didn't have enough time to finish them. Maybe the studio screwed them over with that. Maybe Peter Jackson chose to throw too much in there, which detracted away from time that should have been focused onto other things. I could go on a Hobbit rant. That's a review for a different time. The point is they've started work on the effects. It makes sense. They need to get them done before the time. Visual effects all kind of blur into one for me now. They've reached a point where none are really wowing me now. Maybe Avatar 2, 3, 4, and 5 will do that. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. Avatar 1 is basically the only thing that's got writing on it left anymore. It is its visual effects. So
The thing is, I haven't actually gone back and watched the first Avatar since it came out, so
okay,
I don't know if the
I'm going to go ahead and
or...
say that the effects were made for cinema. Watching it at home is a terrible experience.
I got... Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, films like Gravity and films like Avatar, and I'd say Valerian, the latest one, they are made for cinema. They're not made for home entertainment. They're basing their visual effects on pushing the boundaries for cinema, not for DVD and Blu-ray sales. And a lot of those films suffer because of that, because they push so hard on those areas that it lacks plot. I mean, I love Gravity as a film. I'll only ever watch it once, and that was because I don't want to spoil or taint like anything that I got from the experience of watching it in a 3D IMAX cinema, which was basically empty. That was the perfect cinema going experience.
Avatar, I got rid of my 3D TV. I have no need to own that film anymore. Does that sum up its film?
That sums up Avatar.
If you have a 3D TV, then you buy Avatar. That's it. That's all you need to have.
Can I make like this? It's not quite as embarrassing as the fact that I went to see Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen 4 times at the cinema, but it might be up there. I own Avatar twice, and I don't even like the
DVD in 3D, was it?
No, right. So I bought not 3D, but I have it on Blu-ray. It was the first Blu-ray I ever bought because I thought visually this is going to look great on my PlayStation 3 on my HD TV. And you know what it did? Now we're on 4K, so it probably looks awful. Who knows? And then, like a year after, James Cameron bought the extended edition out, and I'm a sucker for extended editions. If you bring an extended, if there's a DVD that's released that's a 3-disc as opposed to a 2-disc, guess what? I'm getting the 3-disc. If a film comes out in an extended format, guess what? I'm getting the extended version. So I bought it again on DVD this time. So
I was gonna say, I mean, you've got Lord of the Rings right, extended, but not on.
Twice. Yeah, I own it twice on DVD,
but not on Blu-ray.
But not on Blu-ray, and I don't think I will now because it's like £100 to buy that Blu-ray box set,
which I got for a tenner.
Yes,
bargain. At least you can say that you haven't got Lord of the Rings, but you don't have Avatar. So I guess I can't really make that terrible joke at you. Yeah, Avatar. I just
who cares at this point?
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yes,
ants.
Sorry, that's that amazing advert with. If you ever bored, just go on YouTube, type in Paul Rudd, and why do I always forget his name? Richard Douglas. Is it Richard Douglas? No, I've got one of the names right. Anyway. Michael Douglas, there we go. Search their ants like 20-second teaser where it's literally just them two shouting like ants and like being one of the best 20-second ads I've ever seen for a film. Yeah, they've started filming. I won't lie, I thought they already started filming.
The text was released as well, wasn't it?
Like I like the look of the text. I like the look of the logo.
I think Ant-Man and the Wasp very much like. I mean, Age of Ultron wasn't that good, but Ant-Man was like the nice. Like dessert, like the aftermath.
It was a heist film.
Yeah,
it was like a separate entity, wasn't it, in the Marvel universe? Like still linked in, but kind of.
It was just like I feel like it was the closest film to Guardians of the Galaxy as far as kind of.
It's like taking a breather. Because I'm having a breather out of it, and I'm intrigued for Ant-Man and the Wasp because I think it's the first post-Infinity War film, well, part 1 certainly. And I mean, it probably is going to be deep and connected in the story, but I'd love it if it was set maybe before and it was just like another like Paul Rudd adventure as Ant-Man, because I absolutely love and adore Paul Rudd. Even when he came in Civil War, like he was still great in it. He wasn't overused, he wasn't underused, he was perfect. So I'm intrigued to see what I want to see. I'm really looking forward to this, to be fair.
Yeah, me too. What do we have next? So Glass starts filming next month, which is going to be M. Night Shyamalan's sequel to Split. Now, I've said this before, I haven't seen Split, and I did want to watch it. I kind of held off on it, knowing that it ties back into his second film, Unbreakable. I'll have to watch Unbreakable first, then Split, then this one, because I know that he's linking the two universes together.
Who knows that all of the universes are linked in the Shyamalaniverse?
They probably are. We'll get like an After Earth revisit.
And After Earth is what this world becomes, and it's all because of the Avatar.
Plot twist. Jaden Smith is playing young Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, God. It's going to happen, isn't it?
Speaking of Jaden Smith, very unrelated, go on Google, go search Jaden Smith, Three-Eyed Raven, and your day has been made if you watch Game of Thrones and you like Jaden Smith. That's very unrelated. I'll give the next bit of news to you, Tate. Because I didn't even know this.
Yes. So, the cult classic American film Super Troopers, its sequel, which people thought was started filming, has actually just finished post-production. Like, people were thinking, well, we haven't heard much from this film in a long time. Are we getting any closer to it being finished or anything like that? And the writers just come out and just said, yeah, it's in post-production. I don't know when the release date is or anything like that. I mean, I haven't actually seen Super Troopers, but I know that it's extremely popular in the US as like a cult comedy about cops and stuff like that. I've seen it on a couple of top 10 lists for like best American cult comedy films and shit like that. So that is news for you Americans out there. I've never seen Super Troopers. But who knows, if this film turns out to be quite good, I might see the first one. And finally, the last bit of news, there has been a second poster to the film Mother, the Darren Aronofsky horror film, I believe it is, horror thriller, starring Javier Bardem and Jennifer Lawrence.
You may as well talk about the trailer now as well.
Yeah, let's move straight onto trailer talk. George, have you seen this trailer?
I haven't seen any trailers, I just realised. I wrote the schedule. We're delayed because of me, because of some interesting dramas, so I'm actually behind on all the trailers.
I've watched a few. I haven't watched one for Mother yet because I do want to do a reaction. Expect a reaction out for that sometime midweek. So Tate, this is on you. I've literally just read now what the synopsis is.
Yeah. So. There has only ever been one misstep by Darren Aronofsky.
Noah.
Can anyone on this podcast name it?
Noah.
Noah, correct. Yeah. All of his other films have been phenomenal. This film is about a couple's relationship being tested when an uninvited guest arrives at their home, disrupting their tranquil existence.
Are they called Adam and Eve?
Well,
who knows?
That's what I thought, judging by the poster.
I thought this was like an Adam and Eve film. I'm not sure.
So apparently it's a horror film. So Aronofsky doing a horror film.
The poster is Jennifer Lawrence kind of painted to be like a tranquil painting with her heart ripped out and bleeding in her hand.
But then the new one is of Javier Bardem with fire all around him. Captain Thalathar.
No.
I'm looking at
Pirates.
I'm looking at the Jennifer Lawrence poster right now, and that kind of like weird oil painting effect on her. She kind of looks like, for anyone who's seen the film Dark Crystal from the 80s, she kind of looks like a gelfling. If anyone's just Google gelfling on Google Images, you'll know what I'm talking about. The face looks just weird and plastic. Yeah, no, I haven't seen the trailer yet. I will do a reaction for that, but it has definitely got my interest because Aronofsky's name is attached to it. Sharknado 5.
Oh, no. Mother, I haven't actually talked about the trailer yet, have I?
Oh, sorry.
Basically, it shows a few scenes focused purely on Jennifer Lawrence's character, with overlaying dialogue from other parts of the film involved. And it leaves a very kind of uneasy, creepy vibe. That's basically it. Go on, move on to Sharknado.
Sharknado. What's the subtitle for this one?
Global Swarming, I believe so.
So I'm guessing George is staying well away from this one.
I haven't even. This is
not
the
just
franchise,
the fact he hasn't seen it. But...
This is the franchise that I genuinely would know I'd love, but I just genuinely cannot fathom any sharks, even if they're flying in tornadoes. That's just like nightmares of horror.
So hold on.
I'm a galophobic people.
Wait a sec. We have Sharknado 1, which is called Sharknado. 2 is called the second one. 3 is called hell no. 4 is called The Fourth Awakens, and the 5th is called Global Swarming.
I'd love if we had like a shark film where they took out like a great war trying to protect America from apparently their neighbors. The war that's never going to get built. If we could get like Shark Donald Trump.
The thing is with these films now, like when the first one came out, it was made as, you know, I don't think they were taking it seriously, but I think they were genuinely trying to make a B movie, and it got a huge cult following because everyone laughed at how bad it was, but it was charming.
Yeah.
And because of the success of that, they've now lost the spark of it, because now they're making these as an intentional thing. Like they're knowing with these ones now, and I think it's lost a lot of the quality that the first one had. Like
by losing quality of like knowing that it was a B movie, it's actually becoming a B movie.
Yeah, it's like The Room, for example. When you know that the filmmaker originally set out to make that a somewhat legit movie, and it turns out as it is, and it's fucking hilarious. It'd be like if they tried to do The Room 2 and they know like it's a wink, wink, nudge, nudge to the audience every time. It doesn't have quite the impact.
We are having The Room 2 coming out. It's called
With James Franco.
Disaster Artist, and it looks like it's going to be phenomenal. I want to see Franco nominated for an Oscar for that. I'm not going to lie. Anyway.
What other trailers do we have? We have The Vault. I watched this one. Talking of James Franco, this is a horror movie, and it's a very bizarre concept one. So it begins with a bank heist, and they grab James Franco. I think he's the manager of the place or something like that. They lead him down. They say, like, open the safe. The safe gets opened, and apparently bad things are in the vault. Ghostly things are in the vault, and these ghosts, or maybe they're real people, who knows, start picking off all the heist people that have gone down into the basement to this vault. That's pretty much all the trailer shows. It looks very jump scary. It doesn't look particularly terrifying or anything like that. The concept for me is just ridiculous. And I've seen a lot of ridiculous horror films, but we're at that point now, folks. 2017, we've got a haunted bank vault. No way that you can't make that scary any way you slice it. So I don't. James Franco's fine. There's a few other cast members in there as well. I think I say Clint Eastwood daughter's in it.
Yeah.
But I don't care. I won't be seeing that one. Not because it's too scary, because it looks shit.
There are a few more trailers from this week. On our plan, we've only got one, but we have a few trailers that actually came out today. So we'll move on to the It's trailer, which Chris will be doing reaction of. I believe. Chris, will you?
Yep.
Yes,
good. Yes, I will be doing more. Yes, my public awaits after the very successful previous reaction I did to the other It trailer.
But anyway, this trailer, it takes on a more calm approach, shall we say. The trailer starts a lot more tranquil. It goes a lot more into kind of like I'd say kind of the daily lives of the characters. And I like that side of things. It's not kind of pitching itself to be everything is tranquil and peaceful, and then it goes into oh shit, everything's fucked up now. It is you can feel that there is always something niggling in the background from the very, very start of the film. And I mean, it's these young kids. They're not exactly the most popular, so they're always kind of being bullied and they're being mistreated, and because of that, they always kind of seem on edge and a little bit unnerved by things. And maybe that might be why they are the people who survive in this film, because they know when to run away. But that brings in a whole new thing, which I haven't really seen in horror films before, where the people who are the most scared are the people who are surviving. But anyway, that trailer has a very unusual scene, Chris, with a clown room. For anyone who hates clowns, there is a clown room.
I'm sure there's a whole section on the internet reserved for things like that. What about the LBJ trailer with Woody Harrelson? Because he looks completely unrecognizable in this thing as Lyndon B. Johnson.
I don't know much about Lyndon B. Johnson as far as American politics is concerned. I know that he was after JFK, and he had to take over once JFK was assassinated. But this film, it looks like a film which people would push for the Oscars. Let's just say that. The acting in it looks probably pretty good. It doesn't look like a gripping drama, but it looks like the kind of drama that the Oscars would be perfectly made for. I mean, the best example of putting it up against something is like Sully or Bridge of Spies. It's like a Tom Hanks film. Like, it's always going to be nominated, but it doesn't interest me. Funnily enough, Bridge of Spies did interest me, but that may have been because of what's his name?
Rylance.
Yeah.
Mark Rylance.
One time I remember it.
But anyway,
two other trailers left to talk about. Yes. I'll kick off with Death Wish, which is actually a remake of, I believe, the 1974 film with Charles Bronson. It's a film I haven't seen. I know it has a big following, and I think it's just like the case of all remakes now. Eli Roth's attached to this one. It's got Bruce Willis. They throw AC/DC's Back in Black over the trailer to try and make it relevant and edgy and fun. This looks like another role where Bruce Willis is just sleepwalking through it. He's firing guns. He's trying to capture the old John McClane days. But has Bruce Willis officially given up as an actor? Like, has he reached that point? I can't remember.
He's going to be in Glass. So
yeah, he's going to be in Glass. You're right.
I literally can't remember the last role that I saw Bruce Willis in where it felt like he was trying or he was engaged with the product he was making. Maybe Sin City. Oh, was that Retaliation? I didn't see Retaliation.
Not even Sin City 2 he looked bothered. It was probably the first one. But he was just playing himself. Maybe Friends. Was that the latest best thing I saw him in? Was when he was in Friends for a couple of episodes.
Jesus Christ.
He was
I think the last thing I
in
saw him in
Friends.
was Expendables 2 because he wasn't allowed in Expendables 3 because he wanted too much money and Sylvester Stallone wasn't having it. It looks pretty bad. It might be fine. It might make a bit on like its opening weekend. The plot itself just looks like, and I don't know how much of it is based on the original or the novel, but it looks like law-abiding citizen. Like his wife is killed. I don't know if his daughter's kidnapped. And he wants to get revenge in gruesome ways on the people that did it. It's an action story that's been told to death, and it doesn't look like they're doing anything new with it.
Okay, we actually have 2 trailers left.
Oh, do we have 2? Okay.
We have.
Go with the Netflix one then.
Very quick. No, not the Netflix one. No, this is Marjorie Prime.
Oh,
Is that like a new Transformers film? Is that,
No.
is that the reboot with the women lead?
No, this is a good film, George, not a Transformers film.
Well, you can't criticize the Transformers reboot because there's a woman in the lead character, you fucking sexist.
There's a woman in the lead character of this film as well. This is kind of like a Black Mirror episode styled film. So it is technology mixed in with reality and the consequences of. Chris, what did you think of this trailer?
Yeah, it was a very interesting. Like I watched it, and I can't tell if the main character in it is suffering from some form of Alzheimer's or some kind of degenerative memory loss, whatever it happens to be. John Hamm plays a robot, and I got a lot of David vibes from him from Prometheus.
Yeah,
it looks very. I think it's running the independent circuits, isn't it? I don't know if it's going to get a wide release, but it's a film that I think could have like the mood of an Ex Machina, for example. Yeah. There's another film I was going to compare it to as well, and I think in the trailer it compares it to Her as well, which is a film that I absolutely love. I need to watch that film for a second time. I'm looking forward to, if it gets a wide release, I will absolutely be there. It might even go up for, I don't know, with like an independent film, would it go up for Oscars? I'm not really sure.
It did well at Sundance, so
yeah,
you never know.
I'll keep an eye out for that one. I just love that. I've got to say, Tate, when you said it, it's locked into my brain now. When you read the title originally, you said it was Marjorie Prime. Now I just want to call it Marjorie Prime for the rest of time because Marjorie Prime doesn't sound as very good, even if we are getting a female Optimus Prime out of it.
Okay.
So the last trailer.
Okay, the last trailer. A film which will probably make us both cry. This is probably going to be nominated for Oscars.
Yeah.
And this looks like it's going to be, Goodbye, Christopher Robin.
This was the official second trailer.
The story behind the writer, what's his face? Oh my God.
A.A. Milne.
A.A. Milne. And how he wrote the Winnie the Pooh books while suffering from PTSD, whilst trying to make sure that his kid got a normal life. The fame that came with him writing the books and what stress that put on his family. And just trying to juggle the different lives that he held, as well as his kid trying to live a normal life whilst being famous. This Winnie the Pooh was one of my childhood things. I mean, I've got the entire collection of books behind me somewhere, and I just feel like this film is going to break me, especially with Donald Gleeson in the lead role.
I was tearing up at the end of the trailer because I like how it shows in his life there's moments that he spends with his son, which provides inspiration for elements of the story with Winnie the Pooh and Piglet and Christopher Robin in the book itself. And I was picking out, because it's been a while since I've read Winnie the Pooh, but I'm familiar more with the Disney film. I was picking out all those scenes. It just looks like one of the most wholesome movies that's probably ever going to get made. And of course it is, because it's about Winnie the Pooh. We don't need any live action grizzly bears, yellow grizzly bears like Disney are going to make with their one. This is a new story with Winnie the Pooh. It seems like it's kind of following off from that Finding Neverland hype that was out, what was it, like 2004 or something, with Johnny Depp and Kate Winslet. This might go up for some Oscars, and it looks really heartfelt, it looks emotional, and I will absolutely be at this movie when it comes out.
Agreed.
George, you can jump back in now. This is your segment, Box Office Breakdown.
I know, I haven't seen any trailer. This is how bad I've been today. Well, for anyone that watched last week, well, I didn't actually do the prediction, but I definitely remember writing it. Originally, the Emoji Movie was to dethrone Dunkirk, which broke my heart. And not just my own heart, but clearly the hearts of many other people. So they rallied up. The Emoji Movie is almost dead, and Dunkirk retained #1 with 26.6 million in the domestic box office. 45 million internationally that weekend, almost double, which is so rare these days. And it's on 240 mil worldwide off a 100 mil budget, which is absolutely fantastic. A lot smaller budget than I originally thought Dunkirk had, but it's nice it's doing strong. And yes, let's talk about the shite emoji movie, which I won't be seeing. Debuted #2 with 24.5 mil. That still saddens me. But, you know, at least to have Sir Patrick Stewart in it, it can never hide from that. Yeah, emoji movie, the lesser the better. I don't think it's out over here yet. But anyway, that Girls Trip. Oh, it's out now. Wow, that's a shame. That's a shame for some people. Girls Trip dropped to #3 with 19.6 mil, the film that randomly popped out of nowhere and made money. So fair play to that. And I wouldn't say it's a flop, but Atomic Blonde entered at #4 with 18 mil. I personally thought this, I know it's only 2 million, but I thought this would have been in the 20s at least for an opening. The reviews have been
mixed, I think, haven't they?
Yeah, mixed, that's the right word, because I think everyone was expecting it to be as good as John Wick, but with a woman. But quite clearly, it's probably just, you know, not a bog standard action film, but there's probably some great bits and probably some not so great bits. So I'm still intrigued to see that. Iron Boy, for both of your own confusions, also known as Spider-Man Homecoming, is #5 with 13 mil. It's on 630 million worldwide. It's slowing down, thank God. 70 million off being the second.
It hasn't gone to China yet.
Yes. No, you stole my sentence, Tate. It's 70 million off being the second worst Spider-Man film at the box office. And China will probably help it get past Amazing Spider-Man 1. Probably won't help it get past Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is actually jokes. Planet of the Apes, unfortunately, is dying a very painful simian flu death. You got 10 mil, and this saddens me again because this is the second best film I've seen so far this year. So on 230 million worldwide. That is killing me. They should have given this film like mid-August. It would have had a clean month. It could have been so much better. Why did they release it a week after Spider-Man and a week before Dunkirk? I will never, ever, ever, ever know. Dawn did so well with box office as well, but yeah, this is awaiting China. But knowing them idiots, they're probably going to put it on the same day as bloody Spider-Man over there.
Here's the positive thing, though. If it doesn't make money and they don't make any more Apes movies, at least we've got a solid trilogy out of it.
I think this is I mean, because Dawn made so much, I think Dawn was, I think in terms, I mean, the trilogy's had a budget of, I think, 450 mil or 400 mil. And at the minute, it's on like 1.3 billion. So the trilogy itself has made money. And Dawn is going to get its money. Well, War will get its money back. But it just should have done so much better. But I think this might be a kind of film where people, you know, it's got the critical praise, might get some attention at the Oscars. I don't think this film needed money. I think it's got what it's gone out for to finish that trilogy with a bang. And I'm not even going to report the box office figure for Valerian, but it's dead. It is dead. It's on 30 million worldwide.
Wow.
And the budget was 170. It looks absolutely awful.
Is this going to be one of the biggest box office bombs of all time?
Yeah, because at least John Carter, at least that crossed 100 mil. I think no, I don't think John Carter was a bomb. I mean, it was a bomb, yes.
Yeah.
But I don't think it ever had figures that low.
No. I don't think I do either.
And you got to think of marketing as well, because there were adverts for this thing everywhere, whether it's TV spots, trailers, stuff on the side of buses. When I went to London, we saw everything. Valerian was everywhere. I sat outside the theatre today. I didn't go to the cinema today, but I could hear it playing from inside. It didn't sound audibly, it didn't sound like a good movie, but I might go and see it. If I hate myself enough next week when I'm back from Dublin, I might go and see it on Tuesday alongside Detroit.
We've got Detroit out next week. We've got Atomic Blonde over here in England. And if that doesn't tickle your taste buds, then you can just go and watch Dunkirk or Planet of the Apes again. Give both of these films your money.
Or the Emoji Movie.
Oh, you did thumbs up emoji.
Thumbs up emoji.
This is
I do a shit emoji right now, but I think this would be labeled as some kind of disgusting video on the internet and like the dark web or anything. We're not going to do that. We can preview them.
This is going to be fun. Dark Tower, that Stephen King film where he came out and said it's everything I wanted it to be, just like James Cameron talking about Terminator Genocides. It's going to open with 20 million, potentially 25. This is expected to take #1, which it will do. But the fact that the hype this film had when it was, I remember the pre-production, they were really hyping up getting Idris Elba and McConaughey. I personally thought that both of them were cast in the wrong role. They should have been the other one, going off the trailers and stuff. I got more of the gunslinger vibe from Matthew McConaughey, and I felt that Idris Elba should have been the other one. That's just me. I haven't read the books, but it's 95 minutes long. It's on. I think this morning it was on 18% on Rotten Tomatoes. Could it potentially be worse than Transformers 5? In terms of a big blockbuster, the Emoji Movie is like dead. But honestly, the Dark Tower film is killing people about how apparently bad it is. Apparently, it's a mess. There were extensive reshoots and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not going to watch it, but
George,
Dark Tower.
I haven't seen Transformers 5, and I know that is the worst film of the year.
But the thing is, the difference with this, it doesn't have good source material. Well, not like that. This doesn't have book source material to make a good film from. That was like the fifth Michael Bay film of Transformers. Like, you know what's happening. To start off, a Stephen King, I believe his most famous series.
It's like an 8-book series.
Yeah, and completely. I mean, it's always weird to me. Adaptations of books should, if it's a good book, to me, I always think it should be well adapted.
Yeah.
As a rights holder, like J.K. Rowling, I'll give her all the credit in the world for being so strict on the Harry Potter films before that got made. But you know what? Thank God there wasn't Americans chucked all over the Hogwarts castle. Thank God it stuck to its settings. It didn't cock up. It's how Stephen King can like sell himself out. I mean, he's probably done loads of bad. I think he's had a lot of bad films, they reckon, of his adaptations. But you know, Dark Tower I'd heard of, and I wanted it to be good. But looking at the trailer, it's awful, and there's nothing sold me about it. And quite clearly, it's meant to be a mess. So I don't know if it's trying to tease more films or if it's just crap. But for a long book for 95 minutes, you know something's wrong with there. But I will say for the weekend preview as well, Detroit is getting its wide release this week. It's expected to open between 10 to 15 mil. Again, for like a drama, I don't think people care about box office. It's more the momentum it can get going forward. But it's going to be a battle between Detroit and Dunkirk for number 2 at the box office.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think that's pretty much everything for today's show. Long episode today. Probably more trailers than we expected. A bit more news that we had to throw in last minute. But we got through it. So, yeah. Pass back over to you, George, for the outro.
Yeah, I'm signing out. Like I always say, there's content coming almost daily from these guys. Well, these guys, what? I'm one of you. We don't have at the minute, we don't have a review guaranteed for this weekend, but we have, I think, 2 coming next week. So at least we're repaying the favor. We've got a lot of other shows coming out. Maybe one day there'll be another Best Picture. Maybe one day there'll be another Rockathon. But one thing we can guarantee is that Tate will get, is it Film Club tomorrow or is it Thoughts on Film?
It is Thoughts on Film tomorrow.
Do you want to tease them with what it is? We won't spoil the surprise.
No, because I don't know myself.
We have got Film Club for next week, though, confirmed.
Yes, we do. That will be on the Truman Show.
Yes.
That's the Film Club. But tomorrow I am completely unsure. I do have some ideas. It might be on a Netflix show.
Excellent. Chris, we have your reactions.
Yeah, getting back into those next week. Busy weekend. Following your footsteps, George, from a couple of weeks ago. Going to Skellig Michael. Obviously, the island where the end scene from Star Wars Episode 7 was filmed, a lot of Episode 8. Looking forward to seeing that. Really hoping I get good weather for it as well, so that the trip goes ahead. But looking forward to that. Reactions will be back next week once I'm back from there. And we will be back with the news next Thursday night. I will be obviously scheduling, writing it, trying not to cock up. I'll try and get to the trailers watched for next week. I swear I never watch the trailers. I don't know why. But no, that has been another episode of Cinema Savvy News. I'm absolutely shattered. I've got work in 6.5 hours after getting home from an 8-hour shift. We are all shattered. I'm just going to say, hit that button. That's Tate's favourite quote. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Do all that jazz. Follow us on social media. We even have Instagram, kind of. So check us out on there. This has been a episode of Cinema Savvy News. Thanks for listening.